Yeah.
All right, we're talking about getting FSBOs listed today. So one of the things we look at with FSBOs is who are they? And these folks are going to feel very capable in what they're doing. Their personality type is going to be an I in a DISC survey. They're going to be wanting to save on commission, and they're going to want to be able to say that they sold it themselves. So they want to have that feeling of accomplishment. So it's important that we know this about them so we know how to talk with them. Now, the other thing is FSBOs are problem presentation. And what I mean by that is they have a problem and they don't recognize it. They're trying to sell a house and they don't know what they're doing. So one of the things is you want to bring up points that they may not consider. When you're talking to them, be consistent. Okay. I-type individuals too, do not mind pushback. I should say do not mind pushbacks. It said do mind pushback. So give them pushback if they're saying something that's incorrect. They actually respect you for it and they will take that. Another one is be ready to spend some time with you. Because they're I individuals, they're going to let you talk a lot. So when you make that phone call or you make that visit, that may not be a quick in and out conversation with them. And also take notes about it. You want to get to know what their motivation is so you can be utilizing that motivation to help make your points as far as why they should list with you to help you. Now, also know your FSBO stats. 90% of FSBOs will end up listing with an agent. This is actually down from the year before of 93%. And the reason it went up is because last year, beginning of the year, you could sell anything no matter what it was. Everybody was just hungry for stuff. The interest rates were still relatively low. So we were still seeing a lot of folks selling it on their own. But you're going to see that number creep down, especially this year. Of the FSBOs who sold it on their own, 50% sold it to someone they knew. That means only 5% sold it to a stranger. Now, of that 5%, 1% were sold to instant offers, such as investors, open door, things of that nature. And if an agent was not involved in the transaction, 50% of those transactions ended up in court. And that's something they don't realize because they aren't using the real estate forms that we do that covers what everybody's responsibility is.
What do they do? I mean,
Oh, they'll have someone write up a contract that's 2 pages long.
a lawyer
Or maybe not.
or
It may be a
title company?
paralegal, or they may pull something off the internet and say this is going to be good enough, and it may not have any bearing to Tennessee law.
So how does a title company, I mean, the title company has to get involved to,
Normally what they're doing is the title company, remember what they do is they check to make certain that there is no liens on the property. And they're going to transact the sale and take care of the money.
but they
Whatever you guys agree to, they don't sit there and say this is wrong or this is right.
have to transfer the deed though.
But it says in your contract that I'm going to give you this much money for this property. But it doesn't say anything else about, what if you misrepresent something?
Oh.
Okay. It also doesn't talk about inspections on there. It doesn't talk about appraisals issues. What if the mortgage company doesn't come through on time?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Amanda.
So with our errors and omissions insurance, if somebody doesn't have that, does that mean that's when it ends up in court because there could be an error?
Well, if an attorney or agent's involved,
Right.
that
If
doesn't
they're
happen
not.
as much, okay?
Yeah.
But if not, that's something that they're fighting it out because they didn't have anybody representing their transaction. Okay, and sometimes they'll have an attorney say, I'll write up for you. What's a bankruptcy attorney? He doesn't know anything about real estate law.
And disclaimers sound pretty big.
Well, again, they don't know anything about those things, so they're not going to know to put them in there.
Isn't that a state law that they've got it? I mean, it's not just the realtors, it's.
I can sit there and sell my sister a property and just do a quick claim
without
deed.
anything. I mean,
Yeah.
without any disclaimer.
But again, that's why you send it to a title company, so it protects you so that there's no liens against it. What if there's a lien that's still on the property? Okay, if you don't go through a title company. Because he had a bunch of stuff delivered to the house, it was never reported. The title company doesn't know anything about it and said, oh no, we can't reimburse you that because the seller knew about that. You're going to have to go after the seller to get that money.
They don't know about foreign investors too that we have sanctions against.
Yep.
And they may not even know that law exists right now because it's new.
That is something the title company, they'll give you a letter for the person to sign saying, are you from one of these countries? But they don't go investigate or anything. It's totally up to them.
But the point being, the title company still has to be involved in order to transfer the deed.
Yeah, or you can get an attorney to do it too. That's
Okay.
not a title company. They're
Okay,
just going to transfer the deed and they're going to go register it.
right.
Yeah.
So they're just writing down on a piece of paper the terms of the agreement.
Yep, or pulling it from the internet or whatever they're doing.
Okay,
But that's why you have such a big deal about, how many are going to end up in court too.
Mhm.
All right. Another one is FSBO sold at a median price last year of $225,000 versus an agent median price of $345,000. That's a 35% difference. That's huge. And they're saying, well, I'm going to save on the commission. Another one is be ready for a come list me FSBO. And these are people that didn't want to list it themselves, but they just put a sign in to start. So they said, well, I'll put a sign up there and see what happens this weekend. Jana just is getting ready to close on one because she called him that Friday, went out and talked to him. And that Monday they called him and says, we want you to list our property. I've had those too where it went out there and the husband's telling the wife, says, you don't have time to do this. Just let him list it.
I talked to a guy earlier.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna go see him Sunday before my open house. But he was out of town. He's like really busy. Can we, make this appointment?
Yep.
So,
And maybe you do it online or something. Just have your listing presentation where it slides online. The other thing, they may not know any agents or who to call. They're also uncertain about the steps and fees. And so you want to have the listing paperwork there ready to be able to go through what those are. So you can walk through all the steps and everything where you're answering their questions. That way they feel comfortable signing you. Okay.
mm-hmm.
And it's really a process of wearing them down. I want you to think about having 8 weeks up there, okay? You go contact with his butt, and he's week 1, and he's standing up here, okay? And then the next week, you're going to add another one, and he's going to be there, but you check with the first one and says, hey, have you sold your property yet? Nope, not yet. Do you still have my contact information? Yep, still got it. Okay. How long is it going to be before you use a realtor? Okay. Then the next week, you're going to add another one, and you're going to go talk to the other 2. Okay. And you're going to do the same thing. You're going to ask those same 3 questions. Have you sold your property yet? Do you still have my contact information? How long will it be before you consider hiring a realtor? Then you're going to get a next one. You're going to find that the guy in week 2, he's ready to list now because he's tired of it. Okay. He's been out of town. So that guy drops off now. So now you got 1, 3, and 4. Then you add another one. He's on week 5. So what you do is you add up these for sale by owners, and you're just touching base with them every week to see where they are in their sale. And they're going to sit there and say, oh, expect an offer anytime. Okay. Well, were they pre-approved? Yeah. When did they come by? Sunday. Well, it's Friday. Have you heard anything else from them? No. Can I share something with you? And you always ask for permission. And they'll say, sure. I said, if you see an ugly baby, do you tell them that? Or do you sit there and say, oh, your baby's really sweet? Or we just have to check with our mortgage company and we'll be back with you. If they haven't gotten back with you, they're not going to be interested in it. Because the people that want to buy something, they are on it. And I just want to be truthful to you so you're not misled and thinking, oh, I'm going to get an offering. And that's what you want. You want me to be honest with you, don't you? And they'll say, yeah. But you want to have a plan. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to have a game plan for each step to stay top of mind awareness and have a plan for problems that you can help with that they don't know they have. And you want to also just be consistent in the follow-up. So let's talk about coming up with that plan, what that looks like. And what are some things that happen in Tennessee that a lot of folks don't know about?
Radon?
Radon one, good one. So what you want to do is week one, after you talk to them, you go up here, is that next week, you're going to come by and say, hey, did you know that there's a huge issue with radon here in Tennessee? And you can actually pull up the map and you're going to see our counties are just littered with all these different radon issues. Okay. And you can drop that off to them. Another thing you can do to entice them to is we use these postcards for the first 3 weeks. We've got a station repair that we send out where it talks through. We also got one on a home warranty we send out last, and the other one we talk about is we do walkthrough videos. But these are things you have to stick a stamp on. You can write a simple note to them. And again, that's something they get in the mail. That comes out week 1, 2, and 3. Okay. What's another issue we have here in Tennessee?
Sinkholes.
Yeah. Did you know that?
I didn't really know that.
Nope. A lot of people don't. But when you pull up the map, it's a huge issue here in Tennessee in certain counties. Okay. That can be a different one. Another one is negotiating the inspection. Okay. If you don't know what to disclaim, as far as say, hey, these are problems with my home, you're making an offer based on these things being wrong with it, they're going to come back and want everything fixed because you didn't tell them there's anything wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
And what things do you need to disclose, which things do you not want to disclose? Okay.
So obviously, if they're selling by owner, they've not filled out any kind of a disclaimer
They probably didn't have a property
or disclosure, I mean,
condition,
yeah.
but they may have sent out, these are all the things that we did to it. Okay, well, you said all these things. Do you have the permits? Do you have the contractors that did the work for you?
If a subdivision's a big subdivision, a lot of people don't have any idea what impact slopes will have on it. And you may have one section of it that it starts sloping down, it's a little floodplain. And the moisture does more damage to the house, even though it's the same house, higher up.
But it could also be just the floodplain type thing. Some people don't know if there's problems in floodplain issues. What are some other ones that we as realtors? Remember when the closing thing changed back in 2015? A lot of people haven't sold a home for a few years. Do they know about any of that?
I wasn't licensed back then. I don't know about that.
Right.
Well,
And again, it's already incorporated into our contracts now. So we're covered on it.
yeah,
But again, someone doing it on their own, they don't have.
Okay.
right. Right.
What are some other things?
Septics,
Yeah, so,
systems, leach lines.
well, also, there's a lot of basements here.
Mhm.
And often with a basement, you can run in, depending on the age of the home, you can run into foundation issues or cracks in the basement. That's a big one.
Mold.
Mold.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people don't think they have mold because it's a newer home. Okay. And then we come up with a couple others. Now we've got some already set up in our Brevity where after you give the call, it sends out an automatic text message and sends them a link. They click on it for these and some others. So that they can actually take a look at it. But we have to call them first because that call, they don't say, hey, I'm going to send you something that's going to make you feel crappy that you don't know what you're doing. You're making that phone call, and in the phone call, you're saying, hey, just want to check, have you sold the home yet? And then you tell my contact information and how long will it be before you can send an agent. Then this text message comes back later and says, oh, I forgot to tell you, I found this article when you send you this link. Okay? Because again, when you're in person or when you're talking to them, you want to be nice, you want to be friendly with them, so they get a good feeling when you're around. Okay? Then you can deliver that through a text message. Okay? And also you've got the postcards coming out. But you're doing one of these things every week is what you're doing. So you actually have a game plan. So you're not running out of things to talk about. Because the 3 real estate success principles are what? First one. Say the right thing, right? And most people don't call because they don't know what to say. You get your game plan, it's going to be easy to do that. The next one is have enough people to say it to. Or pardon me, say it enough times. And if you've got these people lined up where you got so many week 1, so many week 2, so many week 3, so many week 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, then that takes care of number 3 is have enough people to say it to. And then once you get some of those FSBOs, now you've got opportunities to lead generate through open houses, circle prospecting, door knocking around the neighborhood. So it gives you a lot of other things to do. So once you come up with your plan then, as far as what you're going to be talking about each week, this is going to be the important part to know your stats. This is part of your value proposition. Okay? 50% of their buyers found their property online. They said, got that covered. I put it on Zillow. Okay? Zillow only has about 37% of the people looking online on websites. You take 37 times 50, that's only about 19%. Okay? Then you got 28% of their buyers found their home from a referral from an agent. You're not working with agents. You just cut out 28% of the people looking for homes. 5% of the buyers were international buyers. So you just cut out another 5% because you're not on the international sites. So what they're really marketing to is only 19% of the market because they put it on Zillow. And if they put it on some other ones like sellbyowner.com or FSBO or something like that, there's all these different websites. They're only marketing to a very minuscule amount of people looking to buy the home. We're here at Keller Williams. Not only do we have the MLS, but we also have List Hub, which is KWLS, which goes out to another 350 websites. So again, it's huge that you show them, these are the things I can do for you. And again, this may be one of the propositions that they don't realize, that they're not hitting as many people as what they think. And that's why they're only getting 65% versus 100% what the agents are getting. But you have to be careful when you give those stats. It can't be something like, you're dumb for doing this. You have to do it in a loving or just a consultant type manner. Saying, hey, just want to make certain that you're aware 50% of buyers found their property online. So you've got pictures online at Zillow, which is great, but that's only 37% of people looking. Other ones are using Trulia, they're using realtor.com, they're using Redfin, they're using all these different apps, and they're not looking on Zillow for whatever reason. So tell me what your thoughts are on that, Mr. For sale by owner. So thoughts on that? Jana, any thoughts? You're online.
She just took a bite of food.
Oh, perfect. Then I can't see her because I've got the screen.
Oh, my main one is trying to keep the "Are you stupid?" questions like down to a minimum, like just helping them see it's really not just, well, I should be able to just put it on Zillow. Because when you start knocking out, especially the major pieces that they're missing, I think just putting it, kind of dishing up this plate of facts in front of them let them come to a conclusion. And then
Exactly.
kind of, I don't know, be nice to them as they're coming to that conclusion.
Yeah, and one thing you may want to do is actually go online and pull up websites where people find their properties. And it'll give you the numbers of visits that they have, and you can quickly just total those up and say, well, that's only about 19% of everything. And they come to the realization like, well, how do I get on realtor.com? You have to be a realtor or list it with an agent. Okay, and then they say, well, I'll do a flat fee listing. Okay, who's going to negotiate? And who's going to do all this? Because they'll just list it. They don't do any paperwork. They're out. I mean, it's up to you. As far as photos and everything else. And then you can talk to them also about marketing. I mean, marketing's a huge one. I mean, real basic things like toilet seats being up, having dogs in the picture. I mean, we all laugh about it, but that's what we see on it.
Yeah.
Or, you know, the angle where it looks like it's a hallway where they're taking it the right angle where it looks massive and nice. So those are some issues that we always have with it. But those are other things you can put in your problem presentation. And whatever you feel comfortable with is going to go into your 8-step problem presentation. And it may be you got to hand out a piece of paper and you just drop it by or you mail it to them too. Because people like to get stuff in the mail. But just stopping by and being friendly and helpful, I mean, they're going to appreciate that. Okay. One of the other things I want to talk about is that initial conversation with a for sale by owner, because you're getting into it. It may have been on the market already 60, 90, 100 days, whatever, or it may just be on the market today. Is you need to come in with something that is friendly and not, hey, I want to list your property. You want to be a consultant. And one of our scripts is, hi, wanted to call and welcome to the real estate industry. I saw that you listed your home at 123 Apple Street. It's my job to know about all the properties, not just the ones in the MLS. Can you tell me more about your property? And they'll say, I've had a bunch of agents call me and I'm not interested in listing. That's great. I'm here to make certain that you feel like you're supported by the real estate industry. Do you have the tools that you need if you receive an offer? Yes, I do. Great. Can you please tell me some more? Because we do share new homes and stuff within other agents, because 28% of people do find their homes through the referral by an agent, and they may not be looking on Zillow. Only about 19% of people looking online look at Zillow. Now I just dropped that stat in there, and it wasn't something weird. You're stupid about it. Okay. So then they're going to tell you some more about it. Man, that sounds really great. What I'd like to do is bring you some items which may be helpful to you, and also see the property. That way I can share what I see at that, because a lot of times there may be features. And also, you seem like you're very astute. I'm sugar lumping now, okay, in real estate. And I just want to take a look at it because you know properties don't look the same as they do online. So at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, work for you. And I'll be in and out within 10 minutes. You can put an egg timer on me if you want. Okay? But kind of make it lighthearted, but get in there to see it, and that way you can start talking to them. And then have them a couple things. Safety rules are a big one, okay? Look up some realtor safety rules when they're showing homes, and also it kind of verifies. Now, the safety rules we give scare them to death because it makes it sound like you're going to get murdered. Okay? Like park your car in the driveway or in the street rather than driveway. Okay? Don't leave your car in the garage so you can get out. Make them leave. Don't ever leave someone like into an upstairs bedroom or an attic space or something that nature where you can't get out. Have someone else present. Verify their ID. Have them send over their ID before they show up. These are all different types of things on safety things that we want. And you can sit there and say, I'm going to give you the safety rules, because we've had agents build before showing properties. And we have, men and women. And a lot of females, when they hear that, says, we're not doing this for sale by owner or anything anymore. You didn't get an agent up there. Okay. But then there's other things, you can drop off too, which kind of reinforce. There's a lot to do with that. If they're saying I'm busy, if you call them a couple times and it goes voicemail and the voicemail's full, say, hey, I called a couple times and your voicemail is full. Are you missing any calls, for your people on your house then? Yep. That can be important too. Okay, or hey, can we see it 3 or 4? Well, I'm gonna be busy. Okay, if I have a client, how does that work then? Because you need to be able to show up to get it sold. And sometimes they're gonna find another home and put an offer on that one and they're gonna wait. So you're getting suggestions as far as how they're doing it is not gonna get the home sold because they're not making it easy for people. Janet, anything else to add?
I'd say just the where you actually, how many people have called in before you get to them? You just be aware that they might have just gotten their 50th phone call. So if they're more nasty, they probably have gotten a lot of phone calls versus getting them right at the beginning. But again, don't be afraid of anything that they're saying, because they really just are pretending they're plumbers and they're getting in there and realizing, oh, wow, I'm not a plumber. I don't know what I was doing. You know, so it's a process for them to realize how involved it is. So I guess just be kind, even though they're being jerky.
Yeah. And if they're saying, hey, we're getting a lot of calls on it. So, oh, really? How many calls did you get? We've probably had 30 calls this week. How many of those were agents? Probably 25. So you got 5 calls. And did they set up appointments to come see it? And what did they say? Well, they all liked it. All 5 liked it. Did you get offers in it? Well, a couple of them said they had to check with the finance company. And then you can do the other thing. Okay. But great point, Janet. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Scripts are going to be a big one to get the appointment. They're going to sit there and have their biggest objection is going to be, one, if you have a buyer want to come by, bring the buyer by, then I'll show it to you. Okay. And you can overcome that one. And that one is, well, we do is we prove your properties, because you being a person of real estate, you also know things don't look the same. And I don't want to sit there and waste my buyer's time that I'm under contract and I'm working for him by bringing the property that doesn't work. And we do preview properties to bring clients, which is a real estate norm. Another one will be, as far as objections, well, we can see it on the pictures, everything that's there. And again, same kind of thing is that you want to get it. It may be something where I'm not paying a commission. And that's something you ignore it. Okay? You just ignore that and say, I didn't ask about a commission. I just want to come see the property. We kind of come see it. Okay? And I said, I've sold a bunch of homes myself. Great. I just want to come see the property. When can I come see it? Okay? You just want to go see the property and get in front of it. And then when they actually do ask you, you know, well, how much do you charge? Well, to sell your property is 3%. Then you'll tell me as far as what you want to pay a buyer's agent. And they say nothing. Okay, well, we can do that. However, what that's going to do is it's going to block out all your VA buyers because they can't pay commissions. So now you don't have any VA buyers. And if they're in Clarksville, that's a huge problem. Okay. It's also something where if they have a buyer's rep agreement signed and they have to come up with 1%, 2%, or 3%, they may not be able to have enough funds then to buy your property and pay the real estate agent at closing, which is what they're going to have to do, because they're going to have to fund the escrow, down payment, and also the fees. So, what would you like to pay the buyer's agent? Entice them to come in. So that's a conversation you're going to do that. Okay. Anything else? Any other objections you get for the appointment? One thing try not to do is you want to say, I want to see if it's right for a buyer. Okay. And you may get someone say that says, well, a lot of agents say that they have buyers and they show up and they just want to show a listing. I said, well, I'm going to talk to you about both things, because we brought 10 buyers to for sale by owners. Our team has, because it was the right decision. Okay. Other times it's been right for us to list the property for the seller. So we've done it both ways, but I want to come see the property first. It's 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock work. And you always want to end it with a question to close for the appointment, so that they don't have the initiative.
Wes,
Mhm.
I would add one more objection is, well, we just want to see how it goes for a few weeks. And then I've talked to an agent about listing it after that.
I think that's a great idea, because if you can't sell on your own, save your commission, I think you should. However, what I'll do then is I'll take a look, and as I told you before, see if it's any right for my buyers, and it can also show you what we have to offer, so you can compare it with what the other agent has to offer. That way, you're going to be ready to move forward and make a decision quickly. Does 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock work for you?
But my best friend is an agent.
That's great. Okay. And I think that's wonderful. And again, you don't owe me anything. And come to think of it, you don't owe her anything, but you do it to your family to make this most as what you can on this transaction. And I'm sure her being your friend, she would want you to make the most on that too. So I think you should take a look at my offering, and in that way you can judge which is going to be a better deal for your family. Does 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock work for you? Always end it in a question. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for coming. Make the slides available. I did have it recorded, so I'll post it on our YouTube channel. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Wes, are you available after this?